Welcome to the Mantic Universe podcast. This is your host Matthias speaking, and today we have a very special episode for two reasons. The first reason is this is our 200th anniversary episode. So, 200 is a big number for a small channel, and given that this whole thing started with Chris and Clem having the crazy idea to cover all Mantic topics within a single podcast. Ambitious, and we tried as good as we can to cover really everything and failed horribly. But it's good going. And yeah, sorry for all my ahs and oohs and everything. I hope, dear listener, you still enjoy everything we are doing. And today, so I want to talk a little bit about our history, what we have done, what we are going to doing, and then coming to our second reason why this is a special episode a little bit on later. And so this whole thing started on May 2022. It's, a good while. And roughly starting with one episode a month with Chris and Clem talking about everything Mantic that happened and what they wanted to talk. We got through several iterations of our icon or logos, where we had this first gold and black icon at the very beginning that it's still used as a generic icon from time to time. Then Chris got our very lovely MUP dwarf added in there with a fantasy, sci-fi, and Armada version in that is heavily used. We expanded this obviously to get dedicated icons for every topic that we cover, and that's expanded into a big one. So we have also now Halo, we have Dreadball, we have Kings of War Champions covered. We had a German episode, as there are actually a lot of German speakers on here on that channel, given that started by two people living in exile in Germany and now get native German speakers in there. We have also our lore channels with Punny Lore and Warpath Lore. Yeah, we try hard to get everything in there. And so for the team with Chris and Clem taking a break, it's mostly now me, Wiki Dave, Mark Zelinsky. We have Claudio for Dead Zone, Dom and Matt for Dreadball. We have the Halo guys.
Hey everyone, this is Editor Dave. I decided just to jump in there because I have the luxury of hindsight, and so I can actually fill in a few people that Matthias actually left off. So I do want to shout out our MUP Halo team, which is myself and James and now Ash. Yeah, there's taking a little bit of break at the moment. We just schedules haven't lined up, and we haven't been able to do any more recently, but we're hoping to bring that back. I also would like to shout out our Patreons, Jerry McCabe, Dave KitKat, CQ, Holland QK. This is going to be fun because I'm going to butcher this, and everyone knows I'm bad at pronunciation. Kurt Cuns, Sean Clark, Scott Perkins, JQ Nakur, and Florian. I butchered all those names, but I do apologize. But I do want to thank all of them. They really do help making the video work, because it helps subsidize some of the money that I'm putting towards the podcast. And it just makes things a lot easier. This definitely wouldn't be happening if it weren't for you guys. But if you do want to help out in the Patreon, there's always a link below any of our videos. We don't tend to shout out because that's not the whole point, but we are hoping that some of those funds can eventually be put into better editing, better everything. So if you do want to, it just helps us out. It helps our pocket a little bit, because we like doing this. Also, I'd like to personally shout out Clem and Chris for inviting me to MUP all those episodes ago. I think I started with that episode 87 or something like that, and them being receptive to all my ideas that I had for helping with the podcast, including coming up with different shows and so forth. And shout out to Mark Z for being my soundboard when it comes to those things, and Matthias now for taking the good reins of the shows and pushing them forward. We've got a bunch of ideas that we kind of want to do, but it all comes down to whether we can actually get them across the line. I personally am getting sadly quite tired nowadays. For those that have been following, you would know that I'm on the heart transplant list. About 2.5 years ago, I was put on that list. I was told 6 months. It's been 2.5 years, so things are starting to catch up with me a little bit. So I haven't been on so many. I am doing all the editing, all the YouTube stuff. So I'm still definitely around, and I'm definitely there if anyone wants to reach out to talk about maybe contributing to the podcast. We always want to keep the shows going because, as the show name suggests, we're all about all Mantic games. We're not complete fanboys that will be 100% on board with everything Mantic do, but we also like what Mantic does as well, and we want to, help out those fandoms where we can. So if you got any shows you want to go with, I've always wanted to start a MUP Hellboy RPG show. That would be awesome. So if you're a DM, reach out and we can make it happen. But at the end of the day, this is a community run podcast, and we are doing this just because we like doing it. And that's pretty much the end of it. So thank you all for listening and contributing. And anyone out there that wants to get involved, just reach out on Discord, Facebook, anything like that. Comment on this video on YouTube, and we'll be there. And definitely reach out to other people in the community too. There's so many people coming into the Kings of War community, but also there's so many people that have been around the community for a while doing their own podcast and thing, and we always will support them. So make sure you Google it or look on the wiki as well. I do have a little bit of list of all the different podcasts if you're interested. I'll put the link down below. But thank you, everyone. And I guess now back to Matthias.
And so the other guys, we had Fred in here for the editing from time to time. We have Glenn, who composed our music or the new music. We had Walter in here at the very beginning, also doing some lore and narrative stuff. And, well, it's a good team. We have people coming and going. We have new guys coming in. We have some of my the people I play with from Austria doing the Kings of War stuff. We have also Danny, who is coming from time to time in. There was also Steve Hildrew on here. We have had Gary from the On Tabletop guys, the best podcast voice one can think of. And a lot of guests and people who joined in talking stuff. And I'm sure I have someone forgotten here, so not be sorry. It's not intentional if I have dropped in a name that wasn't mentioned, lost some important figure for sure. And well, it's doing a lot. We are middle of a heat wave, more or less, working all day, and then getting into recording episodes is always struggling. But I think we have now a good team and try to get as many topics covered as possible. Try to get you, dear listener, informed with all topics Mantic as good as it gets. And also try to improve our quality as we proceed. And with 200 episodes, I think we learned a lot, especially me as your now regular host. It's, well, when I joined MUP, I was on the brink of doing my own thing. Actually, I have already set up something to doing a YouTube channel, and to not thought about doing a podcast, but just making video content for Kings of War and some, well, model reviews, but then trying around with camera setup and things like that. And then I met Walt at the Clash of Kings tournament, and he said, yeah, let's do an interview. He's there on a podcast with some other guys that are from the tournament with Chris. Let's do something together. Make a narrative episode, because I know you're also interested in those kind of things. And then we somehow never made that, well, narrative episode with Walt. But I was then asked, because I'm already joined in for an episode, if I can help out with another episode and do things. And so that's why I started slowly, try to improve, get my English done. And, well, if I have too long pauses in here and doing a lot of and some stuttering, it's mainly my brain trying to convert different languages together, because it's, how to say, sometimes I'm just missing the right English word to express myself, because I know something, but it's actually not really fitting at what I want to say in German or in Austrian, or I have an worst thing is when I have an Austrian dialect word in mind that fit perfectly, but I don't know the actual German expression for it or the standard German expression for it, and therefore can't think of a certain English word I would like to use. For I have realized over time, speaking multiple language, that there are some certain swear words in Austria that have a direct translation into English, but missing a German one. So there might something going on in the background in dialects that a lot of people might not be aware of, and that still to cover. So always doing a lot of learning, preparation, and really try to get the best of you, dear listener, in there. And this is also why I want to jump to our second reason why this is a special episode, because we thought about, yeah, let's do an anniversary episode. We have 200 episodes, we need to do something great, something big. And then it was like, I thought I had a topic in mind that I wanted to cover for a very long time, but never really got a good reason to do it or a good chance to do it. And then it was like, yeah, making an hour podcast and talking about ourselves and MUP and everything, get guests in there, might be boring, because the listener, those who are there from the beginning, you more or less know more about the podcast than I do. More, let's say, I haven't listened to all the episodes that are out there. I try to always listen to our own things, doing so to improve, but then it's like everything that I have this issue that I hardly can listen to my own voice or my own recordings uh, in concentration. So I skip over all episodes I am part with and just go through what everyone else is doing. I just go back to my own things when I want to learn, to improve, to check on stuff, but I don't really get listening to it as a whole. So still for sure have missed some parts and forgotten a lot of things over time. So I wanted to, instead of talking about ourselves, which I've done for 10 minutes, this should be enough, have a special guest invited, as we want to talk about a charity event that is there in Austria, which is for quite some time now. And as I said, I always wanted to cover it, to bring it on the podcast, because I really think about a great idea to do so, that we have such events here. And maybe there are also other events in other countries that I'm not aware of. But the listener, if you have something that you want to add, may be aware of, want to have advertised, that is something similar, just let me know, and we got it done. And with this, I want to jump to our guest in a minute. And I'm here with Sia, who is part of the orga for the charity. And so, well, tell us a little bit about yourself. So you are a doctor, if I'm right.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, my full name would be Dr. Sia Maglu. I'm a family doctor in the south of Vienna. I am I'm a one of the frontline grunts basically. So you come to me with small and bigger ailments, and I'm actually treating families. So that's my specialty, which is no specialty in Austria. And I'm now a doctor for almost 30 years. And
Yeah.
I have my surgery in Bad Vöslau, which I run now for 27 years. So I'm an old hand in being a doctor, and I'm even an older hand being a war gamer, to be honest. But yeah, that's basically me. I'm married. I have two kids, and yeah, and one dog. So that's
Yeah,
it.
okay. This the usual talk is the important
The
one.
usual
So
dog.
this
Yeah.
is, I think so. Yeah. So yeah, so you started wargaming almost when you started studying, or even at a younger age.
Oh no, actually, I was. We all had these little plastic soldiers from Airfix when we were like 12 years old, but we never had any
Yeah.
rules. So the first contact I had actually was kind of wargaming was role playing. So it was the Schwarze Auge, which was the
Yeah.
main thing in Austria and Germany, and maybe still is to a certain extent. And I started playing role play games with a friend of mine while I was 19. And then I stumbled into the shop where they were selling that. And the first thing I saw was this huge, epic Space Marine battle box, which is like
Yeah.
one of the epic boxes. And then I started to play Space Marine. This was the 5 mil game.
Yeah.
Then it evolved in an epic, and now it's, I don't know, Adeptus Astartes or something like that. And yeah, from then on, I fell deeper and deeper in the hole, which meant I was starting, like a lot of us this day. I was starting with Warhammer Fantasy Battle, so I guess third edition, and
Yeah.
I started with 40K second edition, and then there were a lot of things coming together. I have to admit, mainly because of the availability, Games Workshop stuff. So we were playing War Master, More Time, Necromunda, and of course role play games now and then board games. And yeah, and then in 2005, a friend of mine actually ran the first charity, which he called the Odyssey, and
Okay.
I was very, very impressed by the idea. I couldn't attend. I was just donating. And 3 years later, I thought, well, we could do that again. And we did it in Katzelsdorf, Tin Miniature Museum.
Yeah.
And we had like, I don't know, 40 players, 50 players in 2 days. And that was a pure Wargamers event. So it was dedicated to St. Anna Kinderspital, to the cancer research, but
Yeah.
we were pure war gamers. And actually, the first years, we were a wargaming event. We were wargaming 40K, we were wargaming Warhammer Fantasy Battle, we were having Blood Bowl, and we had War Master, we had everything we could think of, and we were selling drinks and food, and we had a
Mm.
second-hand market there. And little by little, all the other things actually added. So we had guys who wanted to show board games, and I said, "Well, board games, that's nice, but we can't get money. Well, we can't charge money for that." And they said, "Yeah, yeah, we can. We just put a box in it, and in the end of the day, there were like 150 euros in that." And
Yeah.
then we started to sell second-hand games. So we got, actually, people were like, "Do you need these games? Do you need the miniatures? I don't need them. I donate them to you." And we were like,
Mm.
"Okay, I can't buy them all by myself." I was tempted, I have to admit. But we started selling second-hand stuff. Firstly, it was miniatures.
Mm.
Miniatures. We were selling a lot of
Yeah.
miniatures. And then we were going for board games. And that was actually the first, I would say, 15 years, something like that, 14 years. And then COVID hit.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then everything changed. So you are there right from the start. So has this, how to say it, your job as a family doctor had a big influence on doing the charity, or was this just pure coincidence that you fell into this wargaming rabbit hole and then met people along the way? Because there's always like, so people either met via the job or via the hobby. So which one was it for you?
Okay. The charity was probably the hobby, but the background was definitely my job, and the background was definitely my father, who also was a family doctor.
Yeah.
And he actually started to donate money to the cancer research during his New Year's feasts. So he did, every year he did a New Year feast, and there were people coming along. He was inviting like hundreds of people, and then he was like, "Okay, be so kind, put money in it." And at the end of the day, there was official coming from the St. Anna Kinderspital, and they were shaking hands. There were pictures taken, and there were like 2,000 euros in it. And I said, "Okay, we can do that too." And at the first event, we had like 1,000, and we were
Yeah.
like 40, and I was like, what the
small
hell?
start. Yeah,
So,
okay. Yeah, it's a small start.
and to be honest, it actually got an additional layer. I'm a family doctor. I see cancer every day. It's part of my job. But I'm actually a cancer survivor myself. So I got diagnosed with B-cell lymphoma in 2012, and I
Mm,
underwent radiation therapy and chemotherapy. And I really know both sides. Unfortunately,
yeah,
it's
that's
really
true.
hard. And if I imagine being small, being like 4 or 5 years old, and then there are doctors coming, poking your arm. You have to stay away from your parents in a room with other kids. Your school is actually your friends. You don't see your friends because you're like for you 1 year you're in the hospital. They try everything
Yeah,
to make you comfortable there, and you get a teacher and blah blah blah. But still, you're far away, and yeah, and kids are still dying. And that's
yeah,
that's really a tragedy. Yeah, no matter how good we are not good enough yet. And actually, we are seeing really, really good progress in pediatric oncology, but it's still not good enough. And we are actually here to support that, to make it as
yeah.
good as we can. Yeah, and we are
So
one of the big donators actually. So that's what we get
that's
told.
something
Yeah,
great. Yeah. So
yeah.
before we jump to the charity itself, um, a little bit about the Saint Anna Research Centers. So they existed, or the hospital. I think it's there since the 80s or late 80s, if I'm correct.
Yes, as far as I know, they are. So they actually
Yeah,
were part of the General Hospital of Vienna, which is the second largest hospital in Europe. It's actually also the largest university in Austria. It's the largest medical university in Austria. So when you drive along the Gürtel, you see like on your right hand side you see the AKH, which stands for Allgemeines Krankenhaus, and right up under there it says Medical University Vienna.
yeah,
And it was part of those. And then they actually decided that well, I'm not sure about the St. Anna, to be honest. I guess they might be an own organization, but they decided that it would be a good idea if they would have money more or less independently from the government, and they started to
mm,
have donation thingies. And yeah, my family actually supported them as as long as I can remember. So my dad did that, and I actually just took over, and I just wanted to prove that we as nerds, we have that we actually have a golden heart. And
yeah,
at this time, Warhammer was not mainstream. We didn't have Henry Cavill. We didn't have like The Witcher stuff, and we didn't have like
yeah,
talk shows where you people were talking about, oh yeah, I'm painting Warhammer. We were like a strange kind of outsiders who were pushing
yeah.
plastic or tin miniatures over the table, and
That
everybody was like, "What are you doing? And
yeah.
what's your profession?" I'm saying, "Oh, I'm a family doctor. I'm playing Warhammer." And everybody was like, "I understand the first part." And I just wanted to prove that actually we nerds do definitely have a golden heart, and I guess the charity actually proves that really, really well.
Yeah, so this is a nice. So the um, just for those who don't know, we put the link in the description for the Saint Anna Cancer. It's the Saint Anna Children's Cancer Research Center. They are their own company, I think,
They're
or
their
they have
they're
their
their
own
own thing because there are
yeah,
two big things in there. The first one is the St. Anna Kinderspital, which is actually the hospital itself. They
yeah,
also have a big donation platform, but we are supporting the research
yeah,
because it's really costly. We just
yeah.
have
And
to
you know,
admit it.
it's like
Research
if
research is really, really expensive. And
and it's also a problem with things that are not mainstream, because illness
yeah,
that everyone can get are much better supported in research and treatment,
yeah,
while there are those niche things that some things only kids really get. And
yeah.
they have a lot of those illnesses that only a small portion or a small fraction of the
Yeah,
population are
orphan
affected.
diseases. Yeah,
Yeah,
orphan diseases, and of course the thing you really the problem you really have. if you run clinical studies, it's really hard to run them for kids because there
Yeah.
is this ethic. So it's really hard. It's a lot easier to make it with adults because you do have
Yeah.
more patients and you do have totally different circumstances. You don't need to ask permission from an adult to the caretaker. There is no, as an adult, you decide for yourself if you want to be part of a study. How do you do that as a kid? Mom and
Yeah.
dad are, and you're like, okay, we are doing a study, we're trying to try something really new out, but we don't know if it really works. That's a hard decision. That's a hard decision for parents,
It's
and of course, you're responsible for your kids. You know that, I
yeah.
know that, and
And also for
it's
the
really hard.
kids, when you have someone where you're not sure if they really understand what all this means because they're way too young to get it, that's always a
Yes,
tricky
that
part on
definitely,
these
yeah.
things. Yeah.
And we have like 2-year-olds with cancer, or 3-year-olds,
Yeah.
or 4-year-olds. So I do have patients who are like 4 years old, and they have leukemia, and that's just
Yeah.
horrible, because they don't understand that at all. That's
Yeah.
that's really that's really one of the worst things you can have. Yeah,
So
and the parents are also patients because they need to support their sick kids. And
yeah.
imagine you have to go with your sick kid to the hospital each week, and you have to stay there, which means one of you can't have a job,
Yeah.
and one of you has to provide for the whole family, and the kids are ill, and you have to provide for the kids as well, and they have special needs. And no matter how good our social system is, that's really hard for everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really hard.
So yeah. So sorry, to get away a little bit from this more
Yeah.
serious and depressive pocket, we now jump into the charity itself. And now, well, those who are not from Central Europe, the uh, gaming charity con in Austria is for the Saint Anna Kids Cancer Research, and they're doing about a 2-day gaming con with board games, war games, bring and buy to, well, collect money for kids cancer research. And they're doing those for several years now. I think they started in 2009, if I'm correct.
Yeah, 2008 actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is on the 12th and 13th September 2026, from 10 to 17 o'clock in Bad Vöslau. This is between Vienna and Wiener Neustadt. So a big shout out on Steve Hildrup, if he's listening. And we told you several times that the Clash of Kings UK has a very bad date, and you know now the reason why we are talking about this. It's like for us always a hard decision if we go to play Kings of War in the UK or play Kings of War at the Charity Gaming Con. So because it's usually the very same weekend. So Sia, why are we doing this?
Oh, well, it's very easy. It's very easy to say that because we are doing this really for the St. Anna Kinderkrebsforschung, which is, as you said before, the Children's Cancer Foundation. And we gathered quite a lot of money in the recent years, and we are pretty the only one, the only tabletop nerd community charity event for kids cancer research. Or basically we are basically almost the only one, the only charity where you can actually do everything what you want. You can play role play games, you can go for board games, you can have food, of course. You can buy second-hand games. We have a great second-hand games market, and of course we have plenty of tournaments at the charity where you can compete. It's a really friendly competition, so it's more a social gaming tournament than a really very strict one. So yeah, we really try everything to bring in a lot of money for actually against cancer, which is it's pretty nasty for adults, but it's really terrifying for kids. So we try to alleviate that, and we try to support the research of the St. Anna Children's Hospital in Vienna.
Yeah. And I've just seen you last year, so in 2025, you cracked the 30,000 euro goal in collections. So it's
Yeah,
yeah,
we were like totally surprised because we were like starting with I don't know, in 2008 2009 we started like with 900,000 euros, and last year, due to very good management, we which is not me, we were able to break the 30,000 euros, and actually it's 33,000 euros which we gathered. So that was pretty. We were pretty successful. Well, very successful.
yeah. So this is something great. So well, so there's a big team behind those. You have different people all working hard for the charity, and it's also seen at the homepage. So you, I'm not sure if it was last year or 2 years ago. You reported, I think it was 2024 when I read it, about 700 people or visitors on the weekend. So it's not that small, but still not overcrowded like you. It's still a family friendly event. So it depends a little on the weather, I guess, how many people are coming on. But it's a more each year, or is this a stable for the last years now?
To be honest, we increased the public attendance by, I would say, probably 20 to 25% each year. We had a terrible weekend like 2 years ago where we had the big flood in Lower Austria,
Yeah.
and we just had one day, and we still had a lot of support coming in. But yes, we are actually increasing our public attendance every year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yep.
it's, yeah, it's great to know. So let's talk a little bit about the game. So you offer board games
Yes.
for friends. You also offer Dungeons and Dragons, as I've seen. So
Yes.
role-playing gaming.
Mhm.
So I guess you are going with the most popular games in that range, or are you also try to teach new games or introduce something?
Actually, we have a very, very competent staff for teaching games, especially to families and younger adults.
Yeah,
And one of our main goals is that we create a crossover from people who are like, let's say, more convenient players to a little more complex games. And of course, we have a lot of family games. So our our crew in the board game area is really doing everything that people who are visiting us, our visitors, are having a great time and have fun and can try out new games. Yeah. So we do
so
both actually.
if the big if there's a family out there who is now thinking about coming and say, yeah, I always wanted to try D&D with my kids or with my partner, so this would be the right choice to go there, and you can ask the staff to teach it or to play an introduction game.
Yes, definitely. We have well, we have several crews. One of them is the D&D crew, and they are running like 4 or 5 tables. I guess this year's, I guess, 4 tables, where it's where you are able to actually go for a table. You go for a table which you can actually, for a spot on it, not spot on the table, that's the wrong word. Your slot, excuse me. You're going for a slot on a table which you can actually buy, or you can come with your group and actually just do an introductory game. But it's, of course, it's advantageous if you book beforehand.
Yeah, of course. So
But
both is possible. You can just get in there, visit, and then jump in, or book in advance, get in contact so that you get a definite place in there. Yeah, great. So
absolutely, and
and
we are having, I guess, 2 or 3 tables are like book tables, and 1 or 2 tables are open for open play. Yes, and it's, I have to admit, we do have a age cut. So we normally try, due to D&D and its complexity, to keep the attendance age like 12 and above.
Yeah.
And so we've found out that I say most of the younger players tend to have problems with longer than 60-minute sessions, and our one shots normally, well, they go for about I would say 120 to 180 minutes, depending on the group.
Yeah. So for the younger ones, it's the board game section then more interesting, and
Yeah,
I guess.
definitely. Yeah, the board
Yeah.
game section is for the younger ones, and of course we have a painting section as well. So we have three pretty good painters who are teaching how to paint miniatures, and
Yeah.
and then we have like 15 to 20, I guess 15 places where our very young visitors can actually learn how to paint plastic miniatures.
Yeah. So this is great. So it's actually a very good entry weekend if someone always wanted to know how to start, play some games, learn how to paint, to see if this hobby is something. Actually, if this hobby is something he wants to proceed or just want to dip his nose in, that's actually a very great start. And so, just to get it right, D&D is on both days,
Yes,
the whole day.
yeah, the whole day.
Yeah, and if I see this correctly, you also have a table
Yeah.
placement list on the homepage, so you can people can check in there if tables already booked or which day and which time they are free, which is good. And also there's the email for the contact. In that case is dnd@charitygamingcon.at. Dear listeners, we will link, of course, all the information and pictures and homepage and references below. For those watching on YouTube, there's also some nice pictures on the screen now. And, well, how to say, before we go into the wargaming side, you said there's also something to eat and to drink. What actually is there to offer? So there's like a restaurant or there's a barbecue or something?
Actually, it's we are allowed to use the kitchen of the venue,
Yeah.
which is a very great honor that we're allowed to do that. And we do all the small stuff you find in all the other feasts around our area. So it's sausages, it's curry, it's there. We have somebody coming from Cape Verde, and she's doing like 40 liters of the national dish there, and we have like sweet pies, and we have a lot of things. So we also have a kitchen crew, which is about 8 to 10 people now. So yes, you will get everything you want to have, including vegan and vegetarian.
Yeah. So, that's very well. So you get a quite interesting, so not just traditional Austrian one, but like international food, which is great. So that sounds really like a great weekend. And I guess eating is possible depending on the weather, inside or outside. You have open spaces and closed spaces, so you are weatherproof.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. So
to a certain extent. So if the high flood is coming again, so we are screwed.
no,
but
obviously,
apart from that, yeah, we should be able to accommodate most of the people outside for food. Yeah.
Yeah. And now the biggest part is the wargaming and tabletop part in there. And so what I've seen from the homepage, you offer or have set up tournaments or one-day events for the most let's say popular games. Kings of War is one of them, but first about the others, you have I've also seen there's Shroudfall is offered, which is an Austrian game.
Yeah, it's an Austrian skirmish game. Yeah, it's an Austrian skirmish game developed by Bernhard Bonatovic, and he actually presented his first copy of the game on the charity like 2 years ago. And it's become very popular, and it has just beautiful miniatures. And if you love panda bears, that's that's the system for you. It's great panda bears.
The Panda Bear skirmish game. So, right, then there's also Warhammer, obviously. There is Song of Ice and Fire, and one-page rules, and also Battletech. So I haven't expected to see that one in a long time to be offered somewhere. Very old school, I would say.
I guess he's going for the new rules. He's going for the Alpha Strike rules. I have to admit, it's the first time we are actually presenting BattleTech on the charity, and I'm really, really interested how many people will actually come. And I'm really, really interested about the game because we all love BattleTech, right? Yeah. Everybody of us has the copy of the game at home, and it's like an all-time favorite. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, dear listener, for those not being from Central Europe, so Battletech was when we were younger. This was the game here. Yeah. It was like before Warhammer Fantasy and 40k became popular. It was everything Battletech. So I didn't expect to see that one for a very long time, but I guess it's gaining popularity again, and so it's great to have that there, the possibility to play. So how long in advance do people need to check in for tournaments, or can they just hop in straight on a day when they see there's still a free place and just get spontaneously in?
No. I would say one of our major issues is space. Yeah. That's just our let's call it problem, and therefore it's mostly not possible to jump in. We have a deadline, which is the 31st of August. All our tournaments are listed on T3 or other platforms like Longshanks, and normally we have a deadline. And after that, we are able to switch certain players if we have more players on one system to the other, so we can distribute them better. And I have to admit, we really try to fit everybody, but I have also to admit it might be really hard this year. so normally, please registrate. Yes.
Yeah. So it's still just So everyone who knows in advance and they're going and which games they want to try or want to play. So it's really so to say entry-level gaming, I guess. So no the hard competitive tournament meta games, but just really family-friendly ones. So you can get in there, jump in, try some new ones if you like, or not different ones, because when they're all at the same day and time, it gets tricky. But because it's 2 days, they're spread out over both. So if someone wants to come in and think about to stay for 2 days, they can try different games as well. So if you know in advance, please register, so that this makes everything a bit easier for the planning stage. And this year, you are also, what I've seen, it's the first time a Kings of War double tournament. So
due to our space restrictions, the organization tried to optimize space as good as we can, and the double tournament has two advantages. First, we can accommodate more players, and it's a lot more social than playing solo. Yeah. It's a lot more fun for most players, actually for everybody. So that's the reason we were skipping practically every system which we were able to a double tournament.
Yeah, so this is great. So people need to get already have a team when they register, or can they do solo and you pair them in case with other solo players?
Yes. So if you're a solo player, of course you can register and you will be paired.
Yeah. So the best way to find new peoples and players is to go there solo, get paired with someone else, make new friends, learn new games.
Actually, yes, definitely. Yeah. Because on the last picture, what I forgot to say at the start is that we have also we don't only have RPGs and tabletop. We all, of course, have also card games. So we have the usual ones. You know, you have Magic the Gathering, we have
Yeah.
Lorcana tournaments, and of course we have One Piece, and we have some Star Wars unlimited games. So we do have a lot of card players as well. Just I don't want to forget that. So
Yeah.
because that's a pretty huge crowd on a
Yeah, I know.
so there.
It's, yeah, the card game is always the kind of the majority or a big part of the crowd, but often forgotten because they are obviously there.
It's like
Yeah,
they're not very impressive, but it's very impressive how generous they are. You know, they're sitting there, they're donating a lot of money, and they're some. When we had this big flood thingy, we had a Lorcana tournament with like 24 people who wanted to come, and then the flood hit us, and nobody withdraw his registration fee, which is actually a donation. So
yeah,
nobody was drawing back his donation. Everybody said, "Okay, we can't come, we didn't play, but please keep the money." So big shout out to our Lorcana players. Really great guys
yeah.
and glasses.
So this works like how to say, just to get for the technical things. So there all the games have the usual registration fee. I think it's about 20 euros.
It depends actually on the system, but on average it's 20 euros.
Yeah, and the whole money gets then donated to the kids cancer center or hospital. And well, and you also have this second-hand market.
Yep.
So how does this work? Can everyone bring something in, or do they need tell you in advance, or
No,
is this
no.
just on a daily basis? Just about because
It's
everyone is doing this a little bit different usually. So let's explain this a bit.
we are we try to get everything like at least 48 hours before, but we also accept, of course, donations during the event, and and we are trying to get the games over the internet by advertising more or less our event, and people are really generous. And this year it's like 3 months away or 4 months away, and we have people already donated like 300 or 400 games, and these are really great games. These are Some of them are family games, but a lot of them are really for the expert player.
Yeah,
So we have just a great secondhand market, and just a really great secondhand market team. Who all of them are super dedicated board gamers, and they know their stuff. Yeah.
yeah. So this is like if any, I mean, everybody has those games. So you have bought them a while ago. You never play them, but they are like too expensive to be thrown away. You don't know what to do with them. They're taking up space. So you can then donate them for the charity and make someone else happy and also help the children and the hospitals. So this is like a great thing to do. And yeah, your offerings are. I think this is in general a great idea to have this whole
Yeah,
coming together, because it's not just the. It's impressive to a point that you have this great wide range of community coming together, because it's like a large amount of board gamers, the card gamers, the war gamers, just people who want to look in, to check out if there's something to buy, to have a nice day. Well, it's actually something great and really impressive. I'm still a little bit annoyed that I cannot go because I go to Clash of Kings UK.
yeah,
It's
sure. It's totally understandable if you're
yeah,
a dedicated Kings of
yeah,
War player. Then of course that's the tournament you have to attend. Yeah, right.
yeah. It's
Mm.
this once a year event that you have to go in Nottingham. So this is the one thing. But yeah, like if I say if Nottingham is for someone who is around in Central Europe too far to travel, or they can't get a place, or they want to do something with the family, well, you have a Kings of War tournament at home. It's not that big, but it's a really great show and a lot of else to discover there and something for everything. So let's talk a little bit about the location because this is Bad Vöslau. What else can people visit? Like if someone wants to extend the holiday, coming from further away, not just staying for 1 day, but for 2 days, 3 days, for the whole weekend. What else can they do around there? I mean, obviously visiting Vienna is always an option, but what else there's in Bad Vöslau?
Well, Bad Vöslau is actually known for the water, but the spa, to be honest, at this time is pretty cold. So I would recommend that. We have a beautiful area around. As you said before, we are 20 kilometers south of Vienna, so it's very easy to go directly into Vienna. The neighbor city of Baden is also a very nice and charming place. But if you're like want to see really really great stuff, you definitely have to go to Vienna. Bad Vöslau is rather well, it's not a small town, but it's not huge on sightseeing, to be honest. Yeah.
But then it's like, yeah, I mean, it's going depending on how hot it gets in autumn. Having a cold spa around isn't the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
And
but yeah, so for
yeah,
everyone
so
who just wanted to like visit Vienna, go in once of the museums or just have a city trip, and then like yeah, let's combine this with wargaming, board gaming. Let's try D&D or just have a visit. Might also be that someone is on holiday around there in a near city as well, because being 20 kilometers from Vienna, it's almost not that far away from Bratislava as well. You can get into Czech Republic, and for those who are driving, well, or used to drive further down, it's I think Southern Burgenland is or Eisenstadt is worth a visit, which is I think an hour away. Um,
yeah, Eisenstadt is from Bad Vöslau. Eisenstadt is, well, depending on the highway, is about like 45 minutes by car,
yeah.
maybe 50. So
So this
Eisenstadt,
is
yeah.
everything. Let's put so. I think for those on YouTube, we have the map with the location marked on there. For those on Spotify, we try to link that in the description. And well, so it's about yeah. So if you're around in that area, there's a lot of things to visit from the wider region. So if you don't mind driving an hour or two, you can get a lot of sightseeing in Austria. And well, so it would be like when you're on holiday anyway, a nice weekend trip to see, yeah, I'm in Austria or nearby, don't know what to do, or I want to do some wargaming on my holiday. Go to the gaming charity.
Wargaming holiday. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
like fun. Yeah, yeah.
it's
Wargaming and doing a good deed. Yeah.
yeah. So right, what else you want to tell us? So we have you doing it's a 2008. It's a steady grown event. Is there a certain goal you want to reach now that you cracked the 30,000, like a certain amount of visitors again, or do you plan to expand this? So what's the
Um,
next step?
to be honest, every year we are like totally flabbergasted. Well, the first like I would say the first 11 years we used to be in a smaller locations where we used to be in Katzelsdorf at the Tinfiguren Museum, which is a tin miniature museum. Great place to visit. But then actually two things happened. COVID hit, and
Yeah,
the place just, well, it was too small. And so we changed after COVID. We changed to Bad Vöslau, and we were like, oh, totally. There is so much space, and now it's like, oh my goodness, there's so much space, but there are so many people coming. We and every year when the crew is sitting together after the charity, there is somebody or almost everybody who says, oh, we don't want to get bigger. We don't want to have more visitors. We don't want to have more tournaments. We will do just a little advertisement, a little ads on the internet, and that's basically it. And every year there is more money, there are more tournaments, and there are more players, and it's really funny to see. It's like it's like everybody says, "No, we don't want to do more," and everybody is like trying to increase the flow.
Yeah.
No matter what, everybody brings in a lot of heart and a lot of effort to create a better charity, and of course to create more money. But to be honest, we are happy with everything we get. We were never expecting to crack the 30,000. We actually were never expecting. We never did expect that we cracked 10,000 euros.
Yeah.
And it's like it's actually like a dream. It's like a dream. You're like counting the money, and then in the end, it's like, oh yeah, well, it's 30,000, and you're like, what? Where? And we have a crew of about almost. We're a crew of 65 now, and supporting hands like another 35. So we're like, we're more than 100
People, yeah.
dedicated players and crew, and we really try hard. But to be honest, we are happy with everything, and
Yeah.
we I don't think we have a next step. To be honest, we're just going with the flow.
Yeah. So let's make the flow bigger. Let's surprise everyone with how
Yeah,
big it can get.
yeah.
It's like maybe expanding to a third day next year when there's too many people coming in. It's like,
Mm.
yeah, let's so dear listener, I hope this small little advertising is up to you and you like that. Leave in any case, leave a comment and visit the homepage of the charity. Check out if this is something for you. If you have time, just visit by. No need to play. Just get in there, meet some people, have a nice drink, enjoy the weather, or just get some board games, some D&D in there. For the war games, please register in advance and well, let's surprise if we can manage to get a little bit more advertising out there to make it bigger again and surprise everyone and or if we manage to keep it steady for that one time to just keep it on the same level. I don't know which thing is
Well, we
better, but
would be delighted if we would stay on the same income.
high
We
level.
got the
Yeah.
same donations. If we get the same donations, we are like, ooh, we'd be totally happy.
Yeah. So and hopefully the weather plays its part because
Oh
it's,
yeah, the weather is a big issue. It's a big part of the charity. If the weather is fine, we are like, well, we our public attendance is like 25 to 30% more than on a really bad weather day. So let's hope for the best.
yeah. And in any case, so I will try to get all the information linked below, dear listener, if necessary. And for those in YouTube, you see these things in the description. And there are also some videos out there from the past events. There's the Charity Gaming Con YouTube channel. It's a small channel, but they have all the videos out there. We will also link this one below or in the video just for you to check out if this is something for you. And so remember, it's the 12th and 13th September in 2026, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning in Bad Vöslau. And so I hope you all enjoyed this small little special episode for our 200th anniversary. And well, our main goal is for the channel to grow and enjoy you as well, and also to get more of those events in, present the events out of the community who do a great job in helping others out for charity collections, who help growing their community, help to get people together. And if you have an event you want to have advertised with us, just let me know. Write an email or a comment, and we will check this out. Maybe for our next anniversary, if the channel grows. I hope the best for us to get a 300th episode in there as well, and maybe more. So stay with us for the next years. Visit the charity, and thanks a lot for Sia to coming here for this small little talk.
Yeah, you surprised me with the question for the next step, and to be honest, we already reached the next step because we are branching out right now. So we have a war games event in Kapfenberg on this coming weekend, which is also a charity event for the charity.
Yeah.
It's a War Master and it's Kings of War, and
Yeah.
they're playing there. So they're already playing. They're competing there on the castle of Kapfenberg in Styria, and that's actually one of our that's probably the next step. So
So
branching out,
branching out.
creating new tournaments which are also connected to charity and to the charity gaming con, and try to spread the word and show that nerds as we are have a golden heart,
Yeah.
and that we do have. We do
So
have a golden heart.
obviously we have. And dear listener, I will try to get some pictures or a small report from the charity event from Kapfenberg. As I will be, if everything works out well, I will be there and report back from a War Master and Kings of War tournament, as I cannot attend the actual charity in September. So I'm branching out as well, trying to also. And I see a pattern here with having Kings of War at charity events. So this is like also
Yeah,
a great community and a great coming together.
yeah, we've seen a steady grow of Kings of War players, and especially at the charity, we are really grateful when they are bringing their beautiful painted armies. And just as a visitor, just as a connoisseur, if you watch Kings of War, it's just a super great game. If you look at the painstakingly painted armies, it's just great. It's just really nice game. So I know you're on the Mantic channel, but maybe somebody else is like listening because it's the charity. So just watch the armies; they are incredible cool. Really love that. That's really great thing. Yeah.
So maybe someone is there. I mean, it's a Mantic channel, but there are also other Mantic games out there. So maybe someone who plays other Mantic games coming by, want to try something, always wanted to try D&D and go into the charity and check out Kings of War. It's, well, I have to say, people often hesitate with tournaments, but these are more like gaming events. So it's a great way also to check out the game or new games, to watch it, just participate. So the last question would be, if someone wants to join one of your events but doesn't have an army, would you be able to borrow something if they contact you in advance, or someone else have something to?
I'm definitely sure that we can provide armies for people who don't have them. Yes, definitely. It really depends on the tournament, but most of the tournaments and most of the tournament organizers are players themselves, and we all know we do have more than one army in our cupboard. So
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic that we can provide armies for every system you want to play, and you just have to drop an email to the organizer like, okay, I'm new at this game, I played it with a friend with his managers, so yeah, we definitely can
Yeah.
accommodate you with that.
I mean, there's also for those, because we are now more or less international channel. There are those traveling from abroad, traveling from afar. And traveling with an army is always a tricky thing, especially
Oh
maybe
yeah.
say you have a
Oof.
holiday weekend, making a family trip, don't want to bring your army with the plane. So in that case, it's possible to just check out the charity, combine it with something else, and borrow an army just for the event if you contact in advance. So risk it, and we will sort it out.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we will. So uh I'm the tournament organizer for Song of Ice and Fire, really small game.
Yeah.
And if I would be delighted to borrow or lend armies to anybody who wants to compete. And I'm so sure that every tournament organizer, no matter where, will organize armies for you. So if you want to come, and if this might be a problem due to traveling issues, just drop us an email. We will accommodate you.
So great. Everything no. So if there's any further questions, let us know. Write down a comment, join the Discord, write an email, contact the charity for everything you want to know. If you have time at that weekend because you're not in Nottingham or just don't want to go to Nottingham for whatever reason, check out the charity for the next best. I would say it's the bigger and better event, but it's not exclusive to Kings of War. So it's this hard choice on which one to attend if you want to go to the better one or the Kings of War one. Sorry, I choose the Kings of War one. It's actually the UK Clash of Kings. It's this one event per year I want to go, because if whatever happens in real life and I cannot go to many events or playing dates, that I at least have an aim for this one event I want to go. It's just that still, Steve, we told you several times, it's that one weekend where something else is happening.
Yeah. It's really hard. It's really hard to avoid collisions. It's so hard. We know that from personal experience. And if you have a living community with a lot of games, which we have right now, then it's almost impossible to create a weekend where everybody can come who wants to come. That's really it's really a big issue. But well, I totally understand if you fly to Nottingham and compete at the Kings of War European tournament, which will be great. How many players will there be? Just me asking.
I don't know how many will be there this year, but last year I think we were about almost 200 players.
200. So, 200, that's a huge tournament, actually. 200.
Yeah.
That's about all our players on 2 days. So 200 Kings of War players must be amazing to play.
Yeah, it's really it's a very great event because it's also international and you meet a lot of people you just know from the internet over the year, and so meeting the same people each year as well. So to get in contact with others, to look at nicely painted armies. So this is also something I really enjoy in visiting Kings of War tournaments. Is there are really nice armies in there, not just nicely painted models, but great armies to look at.
Yeah,
and this is
also they have like this diorama feeling where you actually have like houses. And I have a friend, his name is Armin, who's actually organizing the Kings of War tournament in Kapfenberg, and he has like halflings, and they're riding on goats, and it's like incredible funny. Or he has like balloons, and that's really lovely. Really lovely.
Yeah.
And what I like on Kings of War, it's figure agnostic. So if you really have your own style, if you want to use whatever miniatures you want, of course Mantic miniatures would be the first choice. But if you are like, oh no, I like the skeletons of XY better, then that's perfectly legal and doable. And I really love that. It brings so much versatility or so much fluff in the game. So it's really cool. If you look at the pictures right now, you see how many different models and how many different painting techniques there are, and it's really great. Really love it.
I think this diorama style of basing adds a lot to the game, because it's so like the Hazelove model removal is always annoying to a point.
Totally. Like you're painting an army to take away half of your miniatures in the first 10 minutes. Yeah, that's so annoying.
Yeah. No, but this is also with agnostic models, obviously Mantic models are the preferred choice, and for some armies the first choice, because they're not really, how to say, for some of them not really alternatives out there. But it's also like you can do a lot with them. You don't need a lot of models. You can improvise. You can make really more terrain instead of models if you are better with that, because I've seen some people who coming more like from the terrain building side and are not that good at painting. They start to invest more time in basing, building the terrain of the regiments with some models on top. And this also looks great. So this is like
that looks just great. And to be honest, come on, look at the price of a Mantic army in comparison to. I don't compare now to other companies.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fair. But it's like I guess the idea of Mantic games was like to create miniatures which were affordable. And
Yeah.
if you don't, and I guess they still do that. You know, they're still doing affordable models in comparison to everything else.
Mm.
And if you put them on the right base, if you are like if you're coming from, as you said, the terrain, scenery, building side, great opportunity. Have okayish, cheaper models on a great base. It looks perfect. And as you said before,
Yeah.
there are certain armies which only can accommodate Mantic miniatures. Don't be afraid. It's in comparison, the investment is small, and it's a
Yeah.
great hobby. It's just a great hobby.
Yeah. And those armies also look amazing on the shelf, because if you want to paint your mini dioramas to put on the shelf just to look at them, it's a
Yeah,
great
it's a
toy.
lot better if you have like if you have a diorama which sits on your glass on your shelf instead of, I don't know, 100 painted little goblins. That just
Yeah.
looks lousy in
Yeah.
comparison.
Okay. So,
Uh,
oh,
I'm
Tom,
I'm a little envious as a Song of Ice and Fire player, because we also used to try to make our bases as cool as we can, but we have the same base size, and you have a lot of variability there, and that looks a lot better. And the huge monsters, it's like I'm like, okay, these are my Beressians, but that's a really cool dragon. So
yeah, right. So it's
a little depressing.
yeah, so it's always good. I mean, I think you can interchange a little bit and play with a song with the Ice and Fire armies in Kings of War to a point.
Yes, we
Um,
have several players who are actually doing that. I guess most of them, of course, play humans,
yeah,
and and they are normally taking the rank and file units, because there are a lot of cool knights, and there are really cool men at war. No, no, men at wars. Yeah, so we got
yeah,
a lot of really cool models which perfectly fit on some templates. Of course, there are a lot of fantasy armies where, well, Song of Ice and Fire wouldn't just fit. That's basically it, because
yeah.
it's just like you have humans, that's it, and three dragons. Period.
Yeah, it's okay. So if it's like if you are a fan of the series or the books, that's the game for you. If you want to go into a more wider fantasy range, it's like Kings of War worth checking out. So
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Kings of War has a lot of advantages. Like your downtime is really small as far as I could
yeah,
see. So you're moving quite fast. So that's really cool. So you're not sitting there for half an hour or even longer and just taking away miniatures. So yeah, that's I really like that. And as I said, the visual effects, the visual side of this game is just unbelievable.
yeah.
Yeah. It,
It's the impressive one. So like if the full army is there until the last few turns, it looks also much more appealing than
oh
something that
yeah.
is like empty bases from the first round onwards and things like that.
You have like
It's
3 minutes just left on the table. Yeah, that's like a little
yeah,
depressing. Yeah, yeah, I see. Yeah, no, that's great. That's just great. It's just a great mechanics. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And so some last words before we close this episode to for the charity.
No, first, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you for giving me the chance of talking about charity, which is really dear to my heart, because I'm a doctor. You know,
yeah,
I know how much suffering cancer can bring. So supporting this is really a good thing to do. And if you are bringing an army, if you drink, if you buy secondhand board games, which are some of them are still in shrink wrap, you support a really good thing. So, and every cent of your donation, literally everything of your donation, goes directly to the St. Anna Kinderspitals Krebsforschung, Kids Cancer Research. So there is we don't use any of your money for anything else than just sending it directly into the St. Anna Kinderspital. So that's
so
that.
and a huge thanks for that. It's really great that someone is doing it, and to help others out. And so, dear listener, I hope you enjoyed this very special episode for our anniversary. And wherever you're listening, I wish you a good morning, day, or night. And goodbye.
Bye.